How you guys doing? This is Archangel, aka Tamoon, and today we'll be breaking down some Prominence Poker crazy hands. Hope you all are having a pleasant day. This is my first recording, so please be kind, and quick shout out to the 8 or so of you who will be joining me for the video. Under the gun, this gentleman here raises 20k. He's a certified loose cannon. I wake up with big slicks, so I jump at the chance to 4-bet him. And of course he raises all in. We have Big Slick up against the loose cannon. What are we going to do? We're going to call. And he has pocket aces, you know. Well played by him. If you're going to be a maniac, it helps to be a maniac and wake up with the bullets. There's nothing I could have done there. On to the next one. This one I'm in middle position with ace 4 black, and I decided to raise it 3x, which is my standard raise. I get 3-bet here. You know, I really don't like that. I took it as a challenge in this specific scenario. And, you know, as Doral Brunson said, if you can beat the person on your left, you're playing well. So I'm thinking, you know, there's a few things I could do here. I could just flat it. But I think he's being a bit of an aggressive player. You know, I don't like to get bullied in this game. So I 4-bet him. I go all in. I put him in a difficult situation. What I'm doing here, really, there's some logic to the madness. I'm manipulating my 4-bet range. So when I 4-bet, I want everyone to see my 4-bet. And see that I have ace-4, so that the next time I 4-bet, I have the nuts. And this guy flops a flush. What are you gonna do? You know, I think I had 30% there. Although, you know, again, I can't see myself playing it any differently because I like to set up big hands, much like this one. I have ace-3 diamonds here. I'm in the big blind. Of course, everyone is calling. Pretty standard for Prominence poker. I hate just calling. It's not optimal poker. It really isn't. I forget why I don't raise here. Might be due to the fact that the small blind has a bigger stack than me, so I just check it. Music to my eyes. I got a flush draw, a straight draw. Someone could have ace-queen. I doubt that, though, because no one raised pre-flop unless they're playing sneaky. So I make it half pot here. What I'm trying to do is target another flush draw or some stupid wacky hand like King 5. And of course everyone seems to be calling because this is Prominence poker. You never know. So we hit the flush here, and we're just going to check it because my table image is a little bit aggressive. I'm going to let someone else do the betting for me. And music to my ears. Again, this guy bets 150 to 200k. He's not messing around. So he's either bluffing, trying to take the pot down, or he has a straight, a flush, pocket kings, maybe a full house. You know, no, it can't be a full house. My mistake. But something big, something big. And of course we're just tanking here, make it look like we don't have ace-high flush. And he pretty much instantly calls. You know, sometimes I'm getting a bit of ahead of myself here. He has a flush too, and you know what? Sometimes I fold flushes, but in this specific situation, I feel for him because I couldn't see myself getting away from that hand if I were him because I checked the turn. So that sucks for him. But you know that's poker. If you were to win every single hand, it wouldn't be fun. Now this next one's a bit of a cage match. I'm in the big blind. This guy calls. You know how I hate that. We've established that, so I make it 4x, which is more or less standard. And this gentleman 3-bets me. So now I know I'm dealing with something like ace-king, pocket jacks, pocket queens, maybe even pocket kings, because he's a passive player and he's in the button. So now, you know, I hit a pair of fives. I'm semi-bluffing here, because I think he has nothing. I want to take the pot down. I have a pair of fives. I'm targeting something like ace-king, hoping he folds. And lo and behold, this guy's ace-king. He was punting a little bit there. Made him pay for that. Better luck next time. Better luck next time, mate. Now this is a duel. This is a duel against a strong player. I think this guy's gold. The guy with the skull mask in the corner there. I've missed slick. And post flop, it goes check, check, bet, raise. Because look at the flop. I mean, the board's paired. Rainbow. What the hell could this guy possibly have? I know he's a good player. He's definitely capable of bluffing. And then he raises me. So what I'm doing here is I have some outs. I think I have ace queen. Yeah, I have ace queen. So I could hit a queen or an ace on the river. Right now I'm floating him. I don't think a river bet would push him off his hand, but I just happen to get a pair of aces here. And again, music to my ears. No need to get greedy, just call. Boom! Pair of aces. That was lucky there. He had me all the way through. Now this hand is a little funky. Jack 10 on the button, sitting pretty. Standard raise. Ace 5-5 or ace 5-8, 2, 3 hearts. I know everyone is in a difficult position here, including myself, but I decided to be the aggressor, put everyone else in a more difficult position. You know, someone could have a weak pair of aces, someone could have a flush, someone could have 5-8. I mean, it's Prominence poker, let's be honest. Someone could have anything. But this is more or less an innocent bet. I could get away with this if I get re-raised. And I get called here. He's the only person who calls me out of all those gentlemen. And I think he's ranked gold, or he has a lot of experience, so he knows something's up. And here we get a pair of tens, although it's a heart. So I'm very concerned at this point. You know, if he bets 50k, if he bets 100k, I'm folding. But it's just another innocent bet. 18k into, what, 58? So we're obliged to call, pot odds. We have a pair of tens, you know, we're not completely beat. And yeah, jack shit. Even if he didn't, even if I didn't get the pair of tens, I might have called them with jack high. Although, you know what, I don't usually call with anything less than king high if I don't have anything. Same table, this time I have king 6. And I decided to pull a fast one here. I do this sometimes. I like to bet, you know, 50k into 25k. To put my opponent in a really tough position, because those pot odds are crazy. And I do this sometimes when I have the nuts and when I have nothing, just to keep my opponents off balance. Usually, I like to do it when I have the nuts. But you know, you gotta keep it balanced. So he calls, and there's an ace. Now I know he's terrified of that ace because he probably has like a pair of tens. Because there's no way he'd be betting, he'd be calling 50k there on the flop. I know he's terrified of that ace. So what do? Just one more bet. Oh, just one more, right? Just like one more chip out of the bag. And I show him the king 6. But you know what's funny? He was afraid of the ace, but he was more afraid of the triple barrel. He was more afraid of the triple barrel there. So now we're defending our big blind, and we have a pretty hand. Jack 10 of diamonds. Not a bad hand to defend. You could make a case for re-raising here, but we want to slow play it. And we happen to flop a straight. And I said slow play, sorry, I spoke out of turn, because that's the opposite of what we're going to do here. We're going to bet 80k into, what was that, 40k. And essentially we're doing the same thing we did the last hand. This time we have it though. And this is going to put everyone in a very difficult position. And of course the only people who are calling are people who have it, right? So you got to be sure that you have the absolute nuts when you do this, or you're bluffing. So an innocent card there, the Queen of Spades. Nothing really changes. Now she could have pocket queens, because she called me with 80k there. But she could also have a flush draw, so we gotta bet something here. And of course she could fold too, but we have a straight, so we're not really concerned about that. I'm primarily concerned about the pocket queens and the flush draw. And an ace on the river. So that doesn't really change much. And the straight's good. You know, no need to be greedy. No need to be greedy. I just checked it there. You know, I've seen players get busted with straights before. And in my experience, it's better to take what's in the middle of the table than risk it all. Even if it's fake money. New table now. This time I'm not doing so well. I defend the small blind with Jack 9. And this is really one of those hands where the cards don't really matter. You're playing the player across from you. And it's a battle of wills because the flop is 7-7 deuce. And of course this guy's a big stack. I'm a little stack. And if I were him, I'd be betting into this. Because everyone's afraid of him. He's the big stack at the table. But of course, we raise him. Like I said, it's a battle of wills. And I really don't buy that my opponent hit that flop one bit. Not whatsoever. 7 deuce, you kidding me? Now it's a question of who wants to go to war over this. Is he going to make a big deal out of this? And of course I could have a flush. I could have a deuce. I could have a straight draw coming up. I decided to be aggressive. And up until this point I've been playing passive. So despite the stack sizes, you know, I'm betting into a fat stack. This might be a recipe for suicide, but, you know, aggression in small bursts can be rewarded. And we got lucky there. We really got lucky. Because he could have had king high or something. So, speaking of king high, we have king 3 on the button. I decided just to call, because I'm a little stack. And the flop is a monotone board. Heart, heart, heart. I know from GTO to bet small here. So I bet, what is it, 3k I think? Yeah, I bet 3k. Usually there's always one caller. Usually the last guy, because, you know, pot odds. And the turn brings another heart. So right now, because he checks, we decide to rip the flush and bet again. Real simple. And of course, if he calls or raises, we have to fold because we have, you know, we have king 3, no heart, so we have to be folding. But you know, just little jabs like that really take the pot down. Usually, the person who does the betting in poker wins. The very next hand to wake up with ace 10 offsuit and make it 3x. That's actually my favorite hand, ace 10. That's probably too good of a hand to be a favorite hand, but I just love ace 10. So at this point we have 3 callers. 9 king 4 rainbow. I'm just going to continuation bet. You could do a delayed continuation bet here, but these are 3 passive players. So I'm just going to throw them a simple jab. No need to go big here either. 6k might do the job. Now of course this is the big stack. If he calls, if he's along for the ride, we have to shut it down. Because we only have ace 10 here. We have 1 caller. So right now I'm trying to think of a story to tell, because I'm going to go all three streets. But at this point, you know, just another jab. I probably put him on a pair of kings here, or maybe even a flush draw at this point. And if he hits the flush, we're screwed, because we're going to rep those nines. That's an awesome story to tell. But in order to make that bet go through, we have to make it big. So we go 100k. And if I had a weak king, I'd be thinking of folding there too. And we pick it up. Nice. So the next hand, I wake up with the button, and I raise it with 6-2 of hearts. You know, it doesn't really matter what hand you have on the button. You should always be playing the button. You should always be raising the button, because it's such a strong position. And my expectations for this hand were low, unless I see an opportunity. So it goes check, check. Small bet here. At this point, I'm just floating him. I don't know what he has at this point, but I'm just trying to sense an opportunity to abuse my big stack here. And I remember this. He bets 15k. There's something off about that bet. Something suspicious. Something about that sizing just felt off. So at this point, I put him on a pair of 10s or a weak ace, and I felt I could push him off it, which I did. And of course, I'm not really risking that much for my stack anyway. So if it goes south or if he re-raises me, I could always fold. He had something. He didn't show me. Yeah, I put him on a pair of aces or 10s. This time we wake up with ace-jack suited in early position. Standard raise. Five callers. So the flop is 9 king 5, 2 diamonds. And this is just another example of continuation betting. This time a little bit more, because there's more players in the pot, and we want to try to isolate the field, thin the herd, so to speak. Get all those would-be players off the pot. So I'm not really targeting anything. I'm just trying to thin the herd with a bet like that. Because I could have gone bigger, or I could have gone smaller if I was just you know, trying to give him a jab, so to speak. So at this point we have a 7, and I decide to double barrel. At this point I probably put him on a king, because at this point I put him on a king because he's still along for the ride. Of course, there's a possible straight out there, very obvious, and he checks. I figure there's a 50-50 chance I can push him off the king, but I have to bet big here if I want to rep that straight, or 2 pair, 3 of a kind. So I bet big. He's checking to see if he has the king. Yep, he's still got it. But does he want to call that huge bet? Nah, he doesn't. And he's salty. I remember. Aggression in small bursts, I got away with that because I'm not a maniac, right? I'm not always betting into people like that. That's why I got away with it. Aggression in small bursts is important. Now the last hand we have is fun. The small blind makes it 9x, and I 3-bet small in an attempt to isolate him. Because I want to go heads up with this guy. He's a bit of a wacky player. He's not really a loose cannon. He's just a wacky player, It's fake money. He just wants to have fun, right? Nothing wrong with that, but in typical Prominence poker fashion, everyone's calling. The original aggressor, I'm not really concerned about him, so he puts me all in. I'm not really concerned about him. I'm concerned about these other 2 people, but I decide to gamble, because you never know. And as luck would have it, I have the best hand. Will this be one of those times where the best hand wins? Yep, the gamble paid off. That felt good taking down that pot. Anyway guys, if you stuck around for this long, I want to thank you for watching and have a great day. On to the next one. Cheers.